Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nurse Babe Britt, and in today's video, I'm going to tell y'all how to write a paper in nursing school, grad school, college, all of that. So if that's something that you're interested in, and please stay tuned and listen for more. Alright y'all, so let's get started. I did write everything down here on my notebook, so if you constantly see me looking down, then that is why, because I wanted to be very thorough on how to write your paper. And this is what I personally use, and I usually get really good grades on my papers, and so I think this will help if this is something that you're struggling with. Now, I said this is for nursing school, grad school, but it's honestly for anybody. I am going to gear this towards APA format. However, you can tweak it to MLA, AMA, or whatever format you have to write in, depending on what program you're in, but this is just like a rough sketch of how to outline your paper so that you can get all the thoughts flowing and you can get a good grade. And so the first thing is you want to pick a topic, and usually in the assignment they tell you what topic you have to write on, but if they kind of let you just freestyle it, then you want to pick a topic. And so I have an example here of a topic that is nursing related, just for the sake of this video. And so we're going to go with fall prevention in the acute care setting. That's going to be the topic. And so after you pick your topic, and this is something you can actually write down. You can, if you're someone who likes pen and paper, you can write your outline out. Or if you're someone that's a little bit more tech savvy, then you can type this up in a Word document so that you can start getting your ideas together and flowing, okay? And so after you pick your topic, or your topic is assigned to you, like I said, we're going to go with fall prevention in acute care setting. Then you want to pick at least 3 subtopics based off of your topic, okay? And so, like I said, this is a general format. Some assignments will tell you, okay, what you have to cover, but we're just going to freestyle it for this video. So those 3 subtopics are going to be for fall prevention in acute care setting. The first subtopic is going to be call light use. The second subtopic is going to be alarm fatigue. And then the third subtopic is going to be delirium intervention strategy. So that's just, you know, an example that I use. And all 3 of those subtopics can serve as your headings in your paper, and you can write your information under those headings to help organize your paper, okay? So when you're typing this up or you're writing it down, I would start with your topic, which is fall prevention in acute care setting, for example, and then your 3 subtopics, which is alarm fatigue, I said call light use, and delirium intervention strategies. And then after you get your subtopics together, you're ready to research those topics. And so you're going to really research those subtopics, not just the main topic, because the main topic is very broad, right? Fall prevention in acute care setting, well, that could be attributed to a lot of things. So that is why I said pick 3 subtopics, or however many is required, so that you can narrow your search and be more specific in your paper when you're writing. And so after you start researching each subtopic, you want to keep up with the articles that you're reading, the websites that you're going to, whatever source you're using to get your information. Keep up with that. A little trick that I do just to save time is if I come across an article or a website that has really good information and I'm going to use that like in my paper, then I'll copy and paste the URL link to like a separate Word document, and I'll put, for example, if I use that link for, let's say, call light use, then I'll just type call light use, and under that I'll put the links that I use for that paragraph, and delirium intervention strategies, and I'll put the links under that I use for that paragraph. And so it makes it easier and it makes it quicker to do your research, write your paper, and then worry about the other things like references later, okay? And so as you're researching your topic, I put here that you want to summarize and paraphrase as you go. So that is something that's very helpful, because as you read it, you pretty much get an idea of what they're talking about, you know, in the article or on a website. And so while you're reading it, or after you read it, go ahead and maybe make a few notes, some bullet points, or paraphrase what you read. So that way you're not like constantly going back and forth. Oh, what did that article say? What did that article say? So just do it as you go. It will help you out in the end, and it helps things move more swiftly, okay? So after you get all your research done on your subtopics, you're ready to start writing your paper. I recommend starting with the body of the paper first. Before you do any introduction or conclusion or abstracts, you want to go ahead and start with the body of the paper because it makes it easier when you're going back and doing all of those other things that I just mentioned. So you want to start writing the body of the paper. And then something that I do when I'm writing, like I said, paraphrase as you go. If you know that you have paraphrased something from an article or you have used a direct quote, something that I do is I use like a special symbol or like an asterisk or something that indicates that I need to go back later on and add an in-text citation so that I am not plagiarizing and they know that that is that is something I got from the source. And so it can be a little time consuming if you try to do it all together because every source is a little different. You might find yourself spending a lot of time trying to figure out who the author is or, the year of the publication. It's so many little things that before you know it, hour, 2 hours have gone by and you're just trying to get your references together. So that's why I say just add a little symbol that is unique to you, whatever you want to choose, and go back later and add the actual citation. So after you write the body of your paper and you add your little symbols in there for where you have to add a citation, you have your headings already, right? Because you did that when you were outlining the paper. You just went back and added information. Now you're ready to write your introduction. And so to me it's easier to go ahead and read what you already have written and then go back and then add your introduction, okay? And if you need an abstract, that is something that you can do very last, like at the end of writing your paper. So go back, write your introduction, read it all together, your introduction and the body of your paper, and then write your conclusion. And you're pretty much done. So however long your paper has to be, keep that in mind when you're writing the body of your paper because that's really where that length comes from. Your conclusion might be a couple of paragraphs, your introduction might be a couple of paragraphs, but the body of your paper is really where you can dive into, all the information you need to dive into and get the length that you need because you don't want to ramble in the conclusion and you definitely don't want to ramble in the introduction because you're trying to draw the reader in. So after you've done the introduction, you've done a conclusion, you've read your paper all together, it makes sense to you. Now you can go back and you can add your title page and you can also add your in-text citations. And so, I guess the citation part of your in-text citations where you're actually quoting the author or you paraphrase something they said. You can go back, go through all of your sources that you use, come up with your reference page. And from your I think it's easier after you've made your reference page to do your in-text citations because you have the author in a year, or if it doesn't have a year, you have all that information together already. You're literally going back to the paper where you've made those special symbols and you're just adding the last name and the year or et al. Or, whatever the case is, you're going back and you're adding that, which you will find is much easier than trying to do it as you are writing the paper. Because when you're writing the paper, it's easy to get distracted and get, just stressed out by something like references. So that's why I say wait until the end because you want to use all your good brain flow activity to write the paper. You don't want to just tire your mind out with the references or, little stuff like that. And then it's you don't have no ideas for your paper. So after you've done that, you've done your citations. Let me see, make sure I got everything. You've done your title page, your references. If you need to do an abstract, then go ahead and do your abstract at the end. It's easy when you already have all the information because you just read your paper, you summarize it to the best of your ability, you put whatever you need in the abstract, whether that's your results, methods, whatever. Now you just proofread your whole paper. You can have someone else proofread your paper. If you are in school and they have a writing center that you can go to, make an appointment, you can have somebody from the writing center proofread your paper. If you don't have that resource, you can also use something like Grammarly.com. I personally have never used it, but I have been in groups that have use Grammarly. It is something you have to pay for, so it's not free, and I will attach the link to that website in the description box below. But that is a good source as well if you need someone to proofread your paper, look at grammar, punctuation, subject-verb agreement, little things like that. And if all of that checks out, you're pretty much done. You're ready to turn in your paper, and that's pretty much it. Now, some schools have, they use turnitin.com, and turnitin.com is pretty much just a website that tells you, it gives you a score, and that score basically analyzes your paper to determine whether you are plagiarizing, or if you have plagiarized another source or not. And sometimes it's not intentional, which is why it's good to use something like that. And so if it's common words like fall prevention or delirium or something like that that's highlighted, those things are typically, professors will tell you that that's not really plagiarism because it's a common word. But if you are using a lot of the same phrases, or, you know, sentence by sentence it's the same as another source, then you do want to go back and reconstruct that sentence, reconstruct that paragraph, so you're not plagiarizing and that you don't get points marked off for that when you turn it in for a grade. And then voila, you're pretty much done. But if your school doesn't use turnitin.com, then maybe that is something you can still consider using on your own before you turn in your paper. And that is pretty much how you outline your paper and how you write a paper in grad school. So just to summarize and recap, you picked out your topic, you picked 3 subtopics minimum, gear this or tailor this to whatever the assignment details are. After you've picked out your subtopics, you begin researching your subtopics, you paraphrase and you summarize as you go. You write your paper, you go back, you write your introduction, you read your paper all the way through, you write your conclusion, you do your reference list, you go back, you add your in-text citations, you go back and add your title page, your abstract if needed, and you also want to compare your paper with the rubric, if there is one, for the assignment to make sure that you have checked off all the boxes. And that is it. That is how you write a paper in college, grad school, nursing school, med school, whatever. If you guys found this video helpful, please feel free to comment below, like this video, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so you can be the first to know when I post my next video. Thank you, and I will see you guys soon.